Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Biocatalyst 2021. In this video, we will study about the next subkingdom of kingdom Monera, that is eubacteria. Eubacteria are also called true bacteria and they include all bacteria except Archaebacteria. All bacteria do not have cell wall, but if it is present, it is made up of peptidoglycan. The plasma membrane is present in all bacteria and it consists of glycerol and fatty acid which is linked by an ester bond. All these bacteria are microscopic in nature because they all are prokaryotic, that is they just consist of single cell, and that is why we need a microscope to view these organisms. For viewing, we use a gram stain technique. The link is given in the description box where I have explained in detail about what is gram stain technique and how we differentiate different bacteria on the basis of this technique. So, on the basis of gram stain technique, bacteria are divided into two types, gram positive and gram negative bacteria. All these bacteria may occur either single or they might be in colonies. If they are colonial, that is in colonies, they can be in the form of a filament or maybe in the form of aggregate, that is like clumping together. Then the size of these eubacteria ranges from 0.2 to 50 micrometers. And the respiration is again of two types, that is aerobic or anaerobic, that is they can survive respiring in the presence of oxygen or even in the absence of oxygen. So, aerobic respiration is when they need oxygen to survive and obtain energy, and anaerobic is that in the absence of oxygen also they can obtain energy. Then the reproduction is of three types: binary fission, spore formation and sexual reproduction. Binary fission occurs when the conditions are favorable, that is there is enough moisture and food present, and then the bacteria divides equally into two parts, that is binary fission. But if the conditions are not favorable, that is moisture is less or food is less, then they form a thick coating around themselves, and that is called a spore. So, a spore is formed and this spore survives throughout the unfavorable conditions. When the conditions become favorable, then that thick coating dissolves and then this bacteria divides by binary fission. Then some sexual reproduction is also seen in these organisms, where a part of the DNA is transferred into another cell. So, that is how sexual reproduction is also seen, but that is not very common. Most common and regular reproduction method is by binary fission. Then the nutrition is of two types, autotrophic and heterotrophic nutrition. Autotrophic, that is they can prepare their own food, that is again of two types, chemosynthetic or photosynthetic. So, when they are chemosynthetic, then they use inorganic substances to obtain food, and if they are photosynthetic, then it means they have chlorophyll and they use the sunlight to prepare their own food. Then the nutrition may be heterotrophic, that is they are dependent on other organisms for their food. So, again heterotrophic is of two types, that is parasitic and saprophytic. Parasitic organisms or bacteria are those which derive their nutrition from a living host, and saprophytic bacteria are those which derive their nutrition from dead decaying matter. So, on that basis, let us do these bacteria in detail. So, first one is a photosynthetic autotroph, that is also called cyanobacteria. Cyanobacteria are also called blue-green algae because they have chlorophyll and they also have another pigment called phycobilin, due to which they appear bluish greenish in color. These bacteria may be unicellular or they may be also colonial, that is they may be in the colonies, or they may appear filamentous. They can be freshwater, marine or terrestrial, that is they can be found in such water where there is salt concentration is low, or marine where the salt concentration is high, or they can be terrestrial, that is they can be found on some moist rocks also. Then the colonies of these blue-green algae are covered by a gelatinous sheath. They also form blooms. Now, what are algal blooms? Algal blooms are actually a kind of overgrowth which is caused in the warm, slow moving water when lot of nutrients are added to that water. So, those nutrients can be added either if there are a lot of fertilizers added to that particular water, or there is a septic tank overflow. So by any accidental means also, if the water gets nutrient rich, then this algae particularly grows at a fast pace, and the entire water turns bluish greenish in color because that algal overgrowth occurs, which is quite dangerous. Then these cyanobacteria can also fix atmospheric nitrogen when they have particular special cells called heterocysts present. So in that specialized heterocyst cells, they can fix the atmospheric nitrogen. And let's look at the diagram. This is a particular cyanobacteria where I was talking about cyst. So here in this diagram, a heterocyst, where we can see the particular heterocyst in these filamentous cyanobacteria. These help in fixing atmospheric nitrogen. Then this diagram or this figure is of, this picture is of cyanobacteria bloom, where by any means fertilizer is added and this water has become nutrient rich. It is warm, slow moving water, and that is why algal overgrowth occurred. Then the other type of autotrophic bacteria are chemosynthetic bacteria, and these bacteria oxidize various inorganic substances, for example nitrates, nitrites and ammonia, and they use that to release the energy for their ATP production. They also play an important role in recycling of nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, iron and sulfur. Then the next type of bacteria are heterotrophic bacteria. We have already studied that heterotrophic bacteria are those bacteria which cannot prepare their own food. So either they are parasitic, that is they live inside or on a living host, or they are saprophytic, that is they feed on dead decaying matter. These kind of bacteria are the most abundant bacteria. Most of them are decomposers, that is they help in decaying of organic matter. There are some useful bacteria also, that is they help in making curd. For example, lactobacillus bacteria helps in making curd, and they are also used in making some antibiotics. Some of these bacteria can be pathogenic, that is they can cause diseases, for example typhoid, cholera or tetanus, or even in plants it can cause diseases like citrus canker. Then there is special bacteria which is called mycoplasma, and the acronym that is used for this is PPLO. The full form of PPLO is Pleuropneumonia-like organism. So actually this particular mycoplasma infection was seen in long back many years ago in some cattle, where they suffered from pneumonia-like infection, and they thought that it was the usual organism which causes pneumonia, but later on they found that it was caused by this particular bacteria, that is mycoplasma. And this kind of pneumonia is also called walking pneumonia because the symptoms are mild but still they are of pneumonia. These organisms, they are the smallest living cell. So that's a very important question, that which is the smallest living cell, that is mycoplasma. Then they all lack cell wall, and because they do not have a cell wall, that is why they do not have a definite shape. So these mycoplasma are also called jokers of plant kingdom because they lack cell wall, and that is why they have the ability to alter their shape in response to environmental conditions. So they are pleomorphic, or we can say they have many forms. They can be parasitic or they can be saprophytic. Then these mycoplasma can survive without oxygen, and many of these are pathogenic, that is they cause diseases, especially the respiratory infections. These particular bacteria are resistant to penicillin because penicillin acts on peptidoglycan and they do not have a cell wall. I hope you have understood what are eubacteria. If you like my video, then do subscribe to my channel and share my videos. Thank you.